And we're about to work with Lennon on her morning kibble and teaching her to just still continue to overcome the climb. And okay, I think that's good. Alright. Alright, so I have her kibble this morning. She usually eats about a cup and a half. So I'm going to put a little bit on top. So this is going to be challenging because I have, even though I've back-tied those two dogs, Mayday and Shirley, I have Laverne who is in a down, but she's not back-tied. Either way, if I get too excited with Lennon and praise her too much with verbal praise too excitedly, the other dogs are probably going to break. Now this is a good test or good practice for all of us involved. Me as a trainer, watching 4 different dogs. Lennon working through other dogs being out, being laying in a down. Remember, she doesn't like Mayday, so Mayday being out is challenging for her. And I think it's mostly fear-based. Mayday's never done anything to her, but she's just afraid of Mayday. And so I'm on my guard because I know Lennon's going to be very uneasy, so she's more prone to, when she's fearful, she's more prone to get nasty and act irrational. And that could either be on to me because she's just going to redirect on anything, or onto another dog. So that's why I have Mayday and Shirley back-tied. Laverne, I'm not worried about Laverne because she'll drop on a dime when I tell her to. So I'm mostly going to focus on Lennon, watching her behavior and working her over the climb. But instead of moving this climb at this point, like I said I was going to do, I think last night, I decided to add a few more challenges for her, which would be the dogs, specifically Mayday, but the dogs being placed along the other wall, and especially different levels, different sides of the wall or room. So we have them in this corner and in this corner. We also have dogs in their crates on this side of the wall as well. So Lennon is already nervous about the climb. She overcame it yesterday, and actually climbed completely over it. But today we're going to see if she will actually work through her fears and her nerves with the other dogs around. This is going to be a big challenge for her. She may not eat, so we'll just have to see. But the key for me to remember is to not get super excited. If she does overcome this, don't get super excited, because then I'm going to end up getting this dog to break. I know she will, because if I have a party, she wants to get into the party with me. And then these other two, they're super happy-go-lucky dogs. They love to party too. So I'm going to have to be on my toes today. Set this food over here. Let's just see how we get started. If you hear any weird slurping noises, it is Spurf eating his palm, or chewing on his palm. Alright, oh, good girl. Oh, good girl. Yeah. Good girl. She's not on the top step, but that's great. That's fine to me. I'll take that. Good girl. I'll give her a little bit of a pat, but not too much, not to distract her. Remember yesterday I didn't want to distract her by petting her too much when she made a little baby step forward. I didn't want to pet her and get her distracted. Also, if I wasn't doing this video, I would be super quiet. I would only talk to Lennon when she did the right thing, or when I was trying to, or when she made a step forward and progressed, or if I wanted to motivate her to continue going. So normally this is a pretty quiet affair. Good girl. That's a good girl. Yeah. Good girl. And then it shows you really well her mood, her temperament. She shows you really well, like clear body language. That's what's really easy about working with her. Good girl. Sit. Will you sit? Oh, good girl. Good job. And now I'm going to pet her because she ate all of her little cup that I put, not cup, but a little bit of that food out. So I'm going to pet her up, love her on her. Good job. Oh, yes ma'am. And now we're going to go the other way. Yeah, let's go this way. Oh, you're doing so good. I'm so proud of you. See? Oh, good girl. Remember, Lennon loves praise. She loves verbal praise. She loves affection. So, anytime we're starting on a new obstacle, new obstacle and she's afraid, I can't touch her when she's afraid. You never want to touch a dog that's fearful or in that fearful state. Once they overcome that fear, and their tail starts wagging, you can have a party. But as far as, if they're ever in a fear, if you pet a dog in a fearful state, you're reinforcing that fear and you're teaching them that, oh, there's a reason to be afraid. I'm afraid too. Let's be afraid together. There's no reason to be afraid yet. So when you're starting out with a fearful dog, and you might be doing this over and over and over again with every new obstacle, but you have to kind of hold back on the physical affection and praise, because if that dog if that's its main reward, which I've talked about this before, she'd rather have a ball, a toy, over food when it comes to fear. A ball gets her over fear much quicker. But you know what? Physical praise and touch is what she loves to work for. When we're doing obedience work, she works for that little scratch from a finger, as for verbal and physical praise or physical affection. Yeah, good girl. Down. Down. This is tougher. Down. Oh, good girl. I'll give you some love for that. This is really tough for her to down. She's not comfortable with it. She's not really sure if it's stable. She's got issues with things not being stable underneath her. She's not cool with it. She'll dart, just like that if she thinks something's gonna fall or shake or wiggle or bounce. She's doing really good. She's really trying to work for her food this morning. So I'm really proud of her for that. So we're gonna keep on going over and then sideways all. We're going to approach this at every different angle so she doesn't get used to approaching it one specific way, and then she'll get kind of weird or funny about always having to use that one direction or one angle to do the spine. Okay, let's go. Good job. All right, this way. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. Sit. Oh, good girl. Good job. And normally we've had the food on the table, but today I'm going to transition that since she's actually comfortable enough getting on the table. I want her to know that the food is coming from me. And it's coming from me when she does what I ask, which is just climb up on top of the table, have a little seat. Good girl. So now, the first time we did this, the first time I ever introduced her to these bricks, she barely sniffed them. She was so afraid of them. Let's go. Oh, good girl. Good job. Okay, up. Nope. Up. Oh, yes. Yes, good girl. I'm marking it with yes. Up. Ready to leash? Good girl. Yes. Sit. She's really good with markers. Really good with markers, with yes, nope, and okay. Good girl. She's really good with them, so it's really nice. And not all of my dogs are, just the ones I clicker train, marker train, same thing. Let's go. Use a clicker instead of the yes, okay, and nope. Yes means yes, you did what I want you to do. Okay, let's go. Yes. Girls. Oh, yeah, I got that automatic set. May have looked like I was pulling her up, but I wasn't. Yes. Good girl. Now this is, in a sense, pattern training her right now. Every time she gets to the top, she sits, I give her food. Every time she crawls to the top, she sits, I give her food. So you're going to see, she's already starting to display it. Every time we do this, she's going to automatically just get to the top, sit, and look at me because she knows food has always come next. And that's fine. I love her right now because she's doing really well. And I teach an implied stay. So when I say sit or I say down, it's implied that they stay. They don't just break just because I said, or just because I walk away. But as far as the pattern training goes, you're going to see there that this is perfect for fearful dogs when it comes to overcoming challenges. I discussed in another video, yesterday's video, pattern training can hurt you outside of the real world though. It can help you in certain circumstances of like pattern training as far as every time you load your dog up in the car, you do it the same exact way, use the same exact door, you have the same exact structure. That works really well. Same thing with like thresholds, like when you want to let 5 dogs out the back door, you know, if they all know the protocol, they all have to sit and wait. You open the door and then you call them each by one by one by their their name. Then that's a great pattern training, you know, like that works, and that's more like a routine. And then it works really well with overcoming obstacles for this little fearful dog. But pattern training can hurt you outside in the real world in other circumstances where you don't want your dog to just kind of be a robot with certain actions. You want them to be able to make good decisions on their own. Girl, I'm actually gonna have her stand there or sit there for a little bit. She'll hold a stay longer on this block than she will if I just had her on the ground. So I'm gonna walk her around. I'm gonna walk her around, try to test her out a little bit on there. Teach her that she can hold a duration, sit, and then that nothing that's gonna happen to her. Kind of boost her confidence a little. And that's fine that she's looking at me. You know, if we were doing obedience, I would want her full attention and focus. So I'm totally fine with her checking me out and keeping her eyes on me. That's what I want. Good girl. I'm walking around it so she gets just comfortable with things moving around her on all sides and angles. And you'll see, like, probably maybe even tonight or tomorrow, if I brought a tennis ball out, which she loves, if I brought a tennis ball out, I started playing with her on it, and I was like bouncing back and forth with my body, you know, back and forth. She'd be all over this, and I'll try to get a video of that actually, because I know this dog. I know her super well, so I know it works for her, it doesn't work, I know her triggers, I know what motivates her, so let's go. Good girl. Good job. Up, up, up. Oh, good girl. Good girl. And there, we got that automatic sit. Good job. Beautiful. Good girl. She's doing really well. I'm so proud of this dog right now. Yeah. Good job. Little kibble. If anybody has followed Lennon's story, she's definitely a strange cookie to work with. She is my own personal dog, but she never had a dog like her, and she's probably not. No, I'm not even gonna say probably. I know she's not exactly stable. Her fear issues are so like deep rooted in her from an early age, and I can blame some of that on improper teaching methods, like when she was little. Nothing, like no verses or compulsion as a puppy, nothing like that. But just when she would growl, some people's solution to dogs, puppies, or even adult dogs growling, good girl, is to use food and redirect them with food. However, with that's exactly kind of how you train an attack dog or a bite work dog. Dog that's going to do apprehension work, military, police canines. You reward them every time they growl, at a person. You reward them, you pet them. Those are the things that when we start a small puppy out and doing any kind of bite work, you praise them every time they growl, or get tenacious, And I did not know at the time that I didn't even think about it, that redirecting them with food when she was nasty and growled, as a little puppy, redirecting her and giving her a treat that's the same thing. Just because we're, trying to get her attention off of whatever she's growling at and getting nasty with, that doesn't mean that I'm still not rewarding her for that behavior. So I kind of feel like when she was younger, it might have gotten kind of like cross wires, the information might have gotten crossed in her mind, because now she took a lot of work to get that out of her. And even now, like if I'm not on top of her, like we don't have a lot of structure in her life, she'll revert back to her old ways, and maybe it's like just a part of the genetic bad wiring in her mind. But if I don't have a lot of structure on this dog, and routine, and kind of almost pattern as far as in the house goes, but out in the real world, I've got to be on top of it. I know that she doesn't do well. She does great with like playing with a group of dogs, great, but walking down the sidewalk, she is prone to want to lunge and bark and all that. So I'm just prepared, and we work on that, and she knows how she's supposed to act, and then she knows how she's not supposed to act. But sometimes she thinks that she can get away with the wrong decision. I always have to be on top of that, anticipate it, and be prepared to teach her in any circumstance. Nope, you gotta make the right decision. And with her breed being a pit mix, it's not good for the reputation and whatnot, but it is what it is. With Lennon, she's just not quite right in the head. And you just have to, every day I just try to boost her confidence, because it's all fear-based. It is 100% fear-based. And so I just have to every day work with her, boost her confidence, and teach her that, there's a right way to act, there's a wrong way to act, and you can do it. You can make those good decisions. So that's like the main thing with her, is just working her through her fears. Every day giving her a new challenge, whether it's just adding a few dogs that she's uncomfortable working in front of, or if it's, taking her on car rides and taking her to places that she's never been before. But I never push her to the point where she's so uncomfortable she'll snap, because her triggers, like she sees red, when that's how she responds to stress. When you push her too hard, she stresses out, and she sees red, and she'll redirect. If she feels threatened enough, she'll go off on whatever she thinks is threatening her too much for her. Good girl. So I've learned throughout my time with her that there is a fine line to pushing her to challenge her, and pushing her to make her feel unsafe, threatened, and I lose her trust. Even if it's nothing like the treadmill. I lost her trust by something falling near the treadmill when she was just standing on it. So she's definitely taught me a lot, and definitely keeps me on my toes. Let's go. Good girl. Oh, good job. Let's go. Good girl. Oh, good girl. And she used my body language just then. I'm going to show you a little bit about body language. Up. Good girl. So, Lennon, we do a lot of obedience work though, so she knows that how to read my legs. And if I want her to stop, here I just stopped, and she just knows to stop too, which is awesome. She doesn't just get off. But here, I kept on walking, but I used my legs. So if I wanted her to stop, I would have stepped off with my right foot, because that's kind of the motion of wait or stay. And then I would have kept on walking. But if I want her to keep healing on a climb, then I'm going to walk, and then my left leg tells her to heel with me. And that's the same thing. If she was already in a stop, because I'm considering this as the place she normally stops. So she would normally be kind of like in a wait or sit. So if I step off with my left leg, that's body language. It's great to teach your dog this. It's body language telling your dog, continue healing with me, or let's go. And if I stepped off with my right foot, with my right leg, it tells the dog to wait. And that's kind of like just a precision obedience, precision healing that I feel is super important for dogs, especially dogs that need a lot of structure. If you have like a happy-go-lucky pup that has absolutely zero problems, which they're out there, but they're rare, then so much structure may not be necessary for you, your family, your dog, but this dog, she has to have a lot of structure. In fact, like when you have multi-dog homes, if you have more than one dog, I'd say you should give those dogs a lot of structure. Even if they're happy-go-lucky dogs separately, together, there's always that question mark, especially if there's just two. If two or more, you need a lot of structure in your home to prevent problems in the future. Because you never know when problems can arise. They may be fine for 6 years. Those two dogs may be fine for 6 years, and then boom, one day, I don't know what happened. I don't know why they started attacking each other. I don't know what they fought over. So I see that a lot, and so to prevent that problem, provide your dog a lot of structure from the beginning, and if it's too late, or it's not too late, but if you're down the road a few years with your dog already, it's not too late to start the structure now. And you may think, it's unfair to teach your dog life, it goes along one way, and then 3 years down the road, 6 years down the road, you change how the dynamics of your relationship, and now they have more structure. Dogs love structure. They love to know what to predict every day. They love to know where they're supposed to lay down. They love to know where to go to get their food. They love to know right and wrong, and you teach them right and wrong, so then they can stay out of trouble. Because dogs do want to please. Dogs are selfish. They do things for themselves, but they also do things for people for a selfish reason. As far as they're going to sit when you tell them to sit, because they might get a treat, right? They might get a piece of kibble, or they get the ball. That's the best example, I guess. Not really great with analogies, but that might be the best example. You tell them to sit, and they know if they sit, they get the ball tossed, right? And then you can go fetch the ball. That's a great example. Like they're not sitting because you asked them to. Really, at the beginning, quiet. They're sitting because they want the ball tossed. So a lot of dogs will work. Like Laverne works for kibble, and I know that anytime I tell her something, like she knows that if I tell her something, she's got to do it. But I know in the back of her mind, she's thinking, man, am I gonna get a piece of kibble for this? She's super food motivated. So let's go, girl. You never want to use any force. Let's go. You can challenge a dog. Like this is challenging for her. Good girl. It doesn't look like it, but I promise you it is. Oh, good girl. You can challenge a fearful dog in this sense, not like in a dominant type of thing. You can challenge a fearful dog with obstacles and stuff like this. And I'm never going to use compulsion or verses with her. Let's go. Get to the top point somewhere. Oh, good girl. Good job, Sid. Yeah, good girl. Good job. And this whole time we've been talking, mind you, we've had Midday, Shirley, and Laverne in their places. Good girl. Good girl. Down. 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 Alright, good girl. And there was a super slow down, but I'm okay with that because this is part of her overcoming this obstacle. Now in obedience, I want a really quick down, right? And she'll give me a pretty good quick down. But here, oh good girl. For overcoming fear, I'm not gonna use any kind of force or any kind of this is all happy-go-lucky, like super exciting. Only positive thoughts will come from the climb because we're only using her morning kibble, mind you, not treats. This is how she gets her meals. Lennon gets her meals every morning and night for doing challenging things. Challenging as far as sitting on a dog cot, because she's terrified of the dog cot. She got her morning and evening meals on the treadmill for a few weeks, since she was afraid of the treadmill. Good girl. And now she's getting her meals here. And I think the first morning and nighttime meal, she maybe ate a few kibble, around the bricks, but that was it. Around the edges. Not even up here, it was down here. The bottom ones, she ate a few kibble. And then I realized, well, this dog is gonna never overcome this fear if I allow the food to be at the bottom. So I started spreading it out on just the top step. And of course, she ate the edges of this top step. But I noticed she was, thinking about putting her paws up on it. And then I think at the very end, she did put her paws up there and ate even more around the edge. And then the next time, good girl. And then the next time we fed her, I think she stepped on this bottom step to eat what was on the top. And then it was just yesterday It was just yesterday that she actually climbed over the whole thing. But my video, my memory card ran out of space, so it died before I got that on footage. Good girl. She's no longer shaking. She was shaking at the beginning of this video. She was shaking when she laid down. But now oh yeah, good girl. She's just so focused on getting her meal right now that she doesn't even care. But food is not a really good motivator for her normally. If she's super fearful, food's not gonna do it. Even after a few days of her refusing to eat near the thing she's afraid of. Hey, quiet. Food just really doesn't motivate her through fear, but tennis ball does. Verbal praise does. Girl. And this has also become a routine for her as well. She knows that every morning she only gets her kibble by working through obstacles and challenges. So, down, good girl. Maybe it got up. So she knows now, she can't play the wait me out game because I have waited her out. She has never won the game of patience. This dog knows that I have way more patience than she does, and that in the end, I always get her, or not always get her too, but I always win the game of patience. And if she wants the food, she's gonna have to make the effort to climb on top of this, or get on the dog cot, get on the treadmill. Oh, the agility tunnel. She still won't go through the agility tunnel, but I kind of flipped it and started working on the climb because I got excited about this. So now that I'd say this is conquered, I'm good with it, I'm happy about it. So now that she's got this conquered, we're going to actually start working on the agility tunnel today, and it's only 3 feet, maybe 4 feet. She's terrified of it. She doesn't like that it wobbles. She doesn't like that it crinkles. Hey, she doesn't like that it crinkles. She doesn't like anything about it. So that's what we're gonna work on from now on. Every day, we're gonna morning and night feed her kibble in there, and we'll see how it goes. It hasn't gone too good so far. She was really slow and just rubbernecking to get the food. So yeah, I'm gonna cut the video off because she's one. I need to get her out. Laverne already had her morning treadmill run, so she probably needs to use the bathroom. So thanks for tuning in, and you can find us Mayday Dog Training. We're located in Austin, Texas, and you can find us on Instagram, and we're on YouTube and Facebook, of course, because this is where you found it probably, and on Twitter as well. Yep. And stay tuned this weekend. Probably Sunday, it'll go up, a Q&A with Consummate Canine Training. They're located in McMahon, Texas. They specialize in aggressive dogs, rehabbing them, working basic obedience with them. They work with your regular, traditional, just companion pet. They work with working dogs, doing detection work, apprehension work. They do amazing things. So stay tuned for that. On Sunday, it'll probably go up, a Q&A. And if you have any questions to ask them, please feel free to comment down below on this video, and I'll be sure to ask them. And their website is consummatecaninetraining.com. So you should look them up because they are doing awesome things out there. So thank you.